Hey guys, welcome back. Guys, look, in your life, there are going to be times when you have to make really, really hard decisions. Decisions that you don't want to make. And I'll talk about a few in my own personal experience. But guys, these decisions, you have to have the utmost confidence in yourself that the decision that you're making is for the best, for you. You know, maybe sometimes the best for you and someone else, or you and, you know, a group of other people, but most importantly for yourself. And you know, some of these conversations to have with yourself to come to these decisions is going to be really hard, you know, because there's going to be possibly some trauma that comes with it, or trauma that led into it, right? And that you have to work through in order to get to a better place. You know, when I was looking for a house, I was working a security job, and I was always working. So, and the reason I did that was to not be around my family. You see, I divorced a few years back, and I was also separating from the Air Force, and when I did that, I moved back down here with my family, my mother, her husband, and my little brother, my little sister. And times were rough, you know. Family wasn't functional at all, you know. And it really came to a point where, you know, my mother would not stop about sitting down and talking and trying to repair what all was going on, you know. I had already said things before, and no one really did anything about it. No one really listened to what I had to say. So I was just gonna keep my mouth shut, and you know, move into my new house, and you know, kept limited contact with them. You know, and that was a decision that I made. Right, which is another hard decision. And I'll talk about my reason for separation from the Air Force here in a minute, because it involves another hard decision. But I want to get into this one first, because it's one of the hardest ones that I've ever had to make. You know, I was really excited to show my mother the house that I had found, and you know, I was really excited, showing her all the pictures and everything, and you know, I wanted her to come and see it. Excuse me. And you know, for a while I was ecstatic, and then we had that big argument, and it was mainly over, you know, my mother's husband's dog, right, who was very aggressive. You know, the dog has bit almost everyone in the family, except for, you know, my little sister, which was the youngest one. And you know, like I said, that went on for a whole year. And not only that, but that dog was trying to you know, breed with mine, and it would just not stop harassing it, right? So you know, that whole year of being disrespected, that whole year of saying things and just nothing's done, I mean, just the fact alone that anytime that, someone had mentioned his dog, he threw a fit like a child. you know, there was even a point in time when he had thrown a board and it hit my truck. Didn't really do any damage to it, but that's not the point. I had to control myself a lot. Because if I had no self-control, then I would have sent him to the hospital. I would have lost it. But I knew I had things going on in my life, and I didn't want to put myself in that situation. So we sat down, we had that conversation, right? It's a conversation I didn't want to have, right? But it was a decision that I made because they need to realize just what in the fuck they're doing, right? And I talked to them like they were children, There were no boundaries in the house, right? Well, it's not that there weren't any boundaries in the house. Is that there were boundaries that weren't respected, especially mine. So, I laid into them. I really did. I was very frustrated. I was very angry with them. I mean, how can you not? And then, at some point, we got into a conversation of, men and women, and how things should work in the house, and stuff like that. I try to set them straight. Well, here's the problem, boys, is that when you try to set people straight who don't want to listen, right, who are already set in their ways, you're going to find it extremely, extremely problematic, right, to get anything through to them, obviously. So that next day, or no, it was either a day or two after that, I had picked up a shift with my job to work, and it was a midnight shift. It was a 12-hour shift, and I had mentioned these stories, but I haven't really gone a whole lot in depth. But I want to go a little bit more in depth with this one, because I want you guys to understand just how hard these decisions you need to make, and how important it is to be sure of yourself when you're making them. So I'm working, right, and my phone is almost dead, so I turn my phone off, right? Comes time to the end of the shift, I turn my phone back on, right? I end the shift, I head out to my truck, ready to get back to my mom's place, and I receive a text from her. And that text was her saying that I needed to move out. You see, what ended up happening, right, was that that conversation that we had. Well, we had a couple conversations, actually. It was two conversations. The first one was a little bit more heated, and the second one was a little bit more calm. But obviously, there was quite some contention there. There was a lot of tension. There was just a lot of disagreements, and for whatever reason, that had called the marriage into question, I guess. Perhaps there was some conflict between them that they were trying to work out, and my mother made the hard decision to preserve her marriage, right, and kick me out, right. But knowing what I know now, of course, she's going to try and preserve her marriage over, helping me out. but it's still a shitty thing to do, but it is what it is. And, first thing I did was call my brother up because I wanted to know what the hell was going on. I knew he was up. So I called him, and he starts going off on me and blaming me for everything. And so, very quickly, I hung up on my brother. And I thought about it for a second. I think to myself, is this really a family? Is this really a group of people that care about me? Is this an environment that I want to be a part of? And it didn't take too long to come to the conclusion that no, it's not. I don't want to live in this environment. So I blocked my brother. I laugh, but it's really sad. I gather up my things, right? And I go, and luckily I had a coworker that was fine with me, with taking me in for the couple weeks that I needed. And I'll always be appreciative of him. When it seems like you're at, your lowest, right? And there's someone that's still willing to give you a chance to help you out when you need it, even offering their own home to you. Boys, I'm telling you, that's someone you have to respect, man. And I respect him for that. He has a whole family, and it wasn't really crowded per se, right? Because there was enough room for me to be there temporarily, but it was extremely kind, and I'll never forget it, and I'll always be appreciative of that. That being said, those 2 weeks came and went. I had a friend of mine at the time help me give my thanks for my mother's place, and I knew what my mother was going to try to do. I had already knew it. She tried to stop me and have a conversation, and just tell me just how sorry she was, and try to mend the situation. And listen, boys, when you have someone that does that, there's really nothing to say, right? There's nothing to say. You took it upon yourself to betray your own son, right? And in the manner that you did, instead of sitting down and have a conversation with me, right, and talking it over with me while you two are there in front, as a cohesive married unit, talking with me about these things. No, you decided to take it upon yourself and throw me out. Now, I don't know if they had a conversation about me specifically kicking me out, but doesn't really matter. I got that impression anyways. So any conversation to be had is a waste of time. I said, I'm just coming here to get my things and leave. And then she was doing the usual woman thing and putting on the waterworks, and I didn't have anything for it. You know, one of the last things that I said to her was that, you know, once I head out this door, you're never going to hear from me again. And I'm telling you, boys, the look that she gave me wasn't a look of sadness, a look of regret that she in her decisions. This is how I knew for sure that I was making the right decision for myself, because the look that she gave me was a look of absolute contempt. It was a look of hatred that I saw in her eyes. It wasn't regret. It wasn't sorrowfulness. It wasn't any of the matter that had anything to do with her. No, it was the fact that I was the one that was wronging her. So it was really rough to make that decision to walk away from my own mother. But, you know, in this life, I will be respected. Right? And if that means that I have to walk away from you in order for that to happen, it is what it is, and I'll make that decision. You know, going back to the Air Force, you know, when the vaccine mandate was going around for the troops, that one was a hard decision to make too, because it was full of fear, uncertainty of my life. You know, they tried scaring us, you know, and for a moment it worked for me, right? Because I was thinking, oh shit, they're really going to take everything from me, so I'm going to have to fall in line. Well, I quickly snapped out of that because I just didn't care. You know, I didn't know what was in those things. Not at all. Well, I do know that it's causing cancer now. Harvard's reporting that cancer is coming from them. Yeah, people are dying within months. It's a very aggressive one too. So, I'll try to look up the channel that's speaking out about this, and I'll put them in the comments for those of you who are interested. But, you know, my ex-wife at the time said that she would support me no matter what. And obviously that was a lie. You know, that's besides the point. You know, I had that one was a rough decision too, right? Just because of, you know, how much you stood out. You know, it's sometimes it's a little scary to stand out, boys. It is. But, you know, you also have to make the decision that's best for you, you know, and that one was definitely the one that was best for me. So, you know, I was treated like shit. A lot of us were, you know, the last tail end of that. And, you know, sometimes boys, when you're scared to make a decision, you can't hesitate, right? You gotta be sure of yourself and what you're doing, right? And that's what that confidence means, is that you are 100% sure of yourself. You know that this is the right decision, and you know that it's the best for you. And, you know, they kicked us out and all that. You know, and here recently, a friend and I had a falling out over a woman, of course. Well, it was about me finding a woman. You know, this girl seemed down to earth in the beginning of the relationship, and, you know, her and I had come to an agreement on the way things were expected to go. Definitely could have been a lot more clearer, but, you know, well, I wouldn't say a lot more. It could have been a little bit more clear, but anyways, you know, I was disrespected there too. You know, quite a few times in our friendship, I was disrespected. You know, and quite a few things that he didn't see that he was being disrespectful about. You know, he always preached respect, but you know, when it came time to give it, that was a different story. So, but you know, I reached out to him. You know, we had a falling out. You know, I talk to people on speakerphone a lot, and you know, I had told him that I was in my truck going to go pick up my girl, and you know, he was like, "Oh, you got a girl now?" Like, you know, and you know, I was telling him that, and you know, she was with me while I was on speakerphone, right? And you know, I didn't tell him directly that I had, you know, I didn't have him, or excuse me, that I had him on speakerphone. I guess I could have done that, but you know, I always made it clear to him that I always have people on speakerphone, and when he made his protest when you know, I was with this girl, and you know, he did this thing where, you know, you got to vet 4 to 6 months before you get into a relationship. And you know, it's always it's like this playbook, right? But dude, life isn't a playbook. You know, if you want something, go get it. You know, obviously, if it benefits you, right? I mean, in relationships, if it benefits you and her, then I don't see the problem. You know, but he started threatening the relationship, and I had just about enough of him, right? Because there were plenty of times before where he betrayed me, and that was pretty much the last straw. And I said, "Hey, man, look, you and I, we gotta talk about our friendship, man." And this is how you know someone doesn't really care about you too, is that I didn't hear anything from him. I didn't hear anything from him. I gave him a whole day to respond to me, and I didn't hear anything from him. So I said, "All right, man, cool. This is done." You know. So guys, look, it's not just family, it's not just career, it's not just friendships, man. Romantic relationships, or excuse me, intimate relationships. I don't really believe in so much in romance anymore. I'm sure you can have romance at a point in time, but you know, that Disney mentality is dying, and I hope it does die, because it's really fucked up a lot of people. But you know, you're gonna have to make really hard decisions, but you also have to be 100% sure of yourselves too. Are you gonna learn and grow along the way? Yeah. Are you gonna realize that you know, you could have done things a little bit better? Yep. I know there are things that I could have done better, you know, looking back on them now, but I've made the decisions that I've made. You know, they're I'm better because of them, you know, and they were decisions that I've made for myself, you know, because I put myself first, and you have to do that. You know, if you don't, you're just gonna end up back at square one, guys. And you're going to have to make that hard decision over and over again. You know, and it's going to be a cycle, you know, and it's going to feel like you're drowning, you know, just to reach for a rope for it to snap, you know. But you got to find that rope that's taut, that's well grounded, right? You know, and that's the confidence in yourself, the reasoning behind it. You know, be grounded in logic, man. Understand who you are and understand the situation for what it is, right? Not for what someone tells you it is, not for what you want it to be, but for what the situation actually is, and sit down and think, do I want to be in this environment, right? Do I want to live this way? Do I want to have people like this around me? And that's what you got to think about. You know, there's making hard decisions, boys. It goes a lot deeper than, you know, do I make this bill payment or do I eat? You know, it goes a little bit deeper than that. Although that's a hard decision, and I've had to make that decision before too. You know, but you know, again, it's about understanding the situation, right, and what's best for you. So that's pretty much it, boys. If this helped you out at all, please like and subscribe, and you know, please share this message. You know, there's a lot of guys out there that still need this information. We're on a mission, boys. We're on a mission, all right? And that mission is to create, you know, and build this community of men where we lift each other up, right? And that's my goal, man. I want to help you guys out, right? And likewise, I want you guys to help me out too. You know, where one benefits, we all benefit, man. So, all right, boys. I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here. If you happen to have anything to say, or your thoughts, or your stories, I love hearing your stories, man. Because it's inspiring. It's inspiring to me. So, boys, I want to know what you're going through. I want to know what you've been through. Right? I want to know where you're going. So, please share your thoughts. If you would like me to talk about something specific, or if you happen to have anything, please email me, or drop a comment in the comment section. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. And listen, boys, take care of yourselves and take care of each other. All right? That's so important, man. That's really important. So, that being said, appreciate you guys, and talk to you soon.